Hi, and welcome back to Pinky Boo Hauntings. I'll be your witchy host, Shy, and I'll be your guide to all things paranormal, weird, and spooky. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, everybody! When this comes out, I'll probably be waking up early against my will and opening presents with the family. While I'm excited for the presents part, I'm definitely not happy to be waking up early, especially after the week I'm having at work. I'm going through a 7-day week right now with only one day off before I'm right back at it. So, all I want for Christmas is some rest. But sadly, I don't think Santa will be able to bring me that this year. But that's enough whining for today. I'm sure you all don't want to hear about work on a day like today, even if it's not yours. It's Christmas after all. It's supposed to be a day full of cheer and happiness. And ghost stories. It is a Christmas tradition after all. Well, maybe it was in its peak in Victorian England, but it was still a tradition, one we could bring back today. What do you say? So let's get on to our first story. This one is called Demonic Santa Claus Encounter. Anyone else seen Santa Claus on Christmas Eve? Or just me and my sister? No, I can't say I have, but then again, I was never allowed to get that close to the living room. I was a child at the time, and my sister was as well, when we were left at home by ourselves on Christmas Eve, while our family went out to shop for Christmas Day. I'm sorry, they went out shopping on Christmas Eve night? How? Where could they have gone by that time? That seems so late and just insane to do. Or is that just me? I'd be way too stressed to do my shopping that late. I can remember everything so vividly, as well as my sister, with us having been upstairs listening to music, with doors slightly cracked open, when we both heard the tree rattling downstairs, and both decided to creep downstairs, as we assumed our family must have returned home, but weren't sure. I was the first to take a turn at looking around the staircase wall to see what was going on and seeing what looked exactly like Santa Claus. A big, heavy-set being in a rich red-colored suit, white hair from the back of its head, and touching the cookies we had left out next to the tree, and rattling with the tree afterwards, then leaving presents under the tree. My sister had peeked around the corner after me, and we both ran back upstairs. When my family returned, we had asked them if any of them had dressed up as Santa Claus and rattled the tree up and placed presents under the tree, and each and every one of them stated word for word, no, and checked for signs of a break in, but found nothing. We have had strange stuff happen before, like people walking upstairs all the time, and other noises in weird situations, but when we told them, they were spooked. Me and my sister and my family still don't know to this day what me and my sister saw. Tried looking for possible legends or demonic entities on the web, but since me nor my sister never walked up to whatever it was at the tree, we don't know if it had a face or not. Okay, by the title, I thought this would be scarier. I'm not even sure why you would think it was demonic. I mean, other than the fact that it could have been just some random person in your house, this doesn't sound very menacing. And don't get me wrong, if this was a real person just in your house, that is way scarier than it being something supernatural. If this wasn't a break in, then the only thing it sounds like is what we know as Santa Claus. I don't know how or why, but really that's what it sounds like. And did you say this thing or person left presents? Did your parents think that was weird at all? As a parent, I don't know if I'd even let my kids have those presents, just in case. What about you guys? Would you or your parents have kept them? I do kind of hope your family was just messing with you, and all of this was just their way of keeping the magic alive. It's just less freaky than the other options to me. Alright, let's get on to our next story. Grandpa came to see me for Christmas. This is a hard story to tell because it was my best and worst experience dealing with the supernatural. It's the best because it proves not all ghost stories are all about vengeful spirits and dark shadows that go bump in the night. It's the worst because just read for yourselves. Yeah, that's one thing people should remember. Not all spirits are evil or scary. I can get why it would scare you, but they're not all bad. Most of them were just normal people in life, and now they're just on a different journey. It was a week before the first Christmas after my grandpa died, and I had stayed the night at my grandma's after we had gone Christmas shopping the day before. My grandma was still taking it hard, and I had been trying to help cheer her up. That first Christmas after a loved one dies is probably the hardest. We had just gone out to do more shopping for gifts, boxes, and paper, the usual wrapping stuff. Then we went to McDonald's to grab some takeout for lunch. When we got back, we ate lunch and watched Christmas movies in the living room till my mom got there to pick me up. I guess all that shopping wore her out because halfway through the movie we were watching, my grandma fell asleep. As I was sitting there, I started to think about my grandpa. We were always real close, and his passing really hit me hard. But I was trying not to show it around my grandma. I was missing him a lot, and I didn't actually want to stay over at my grandma's house as much as I used to, because being there brought up all of the memories of him and just made me miss him more. I never even went into his bedroom anymore, because it was just too sad. While my grandma was sleeping, I tried to pay attention to the movie, but all I could think about was my grandpa and all of the fun stuff we did for Christmas, and how I just wanted to see him again. Ugh, maybe this wasn't the best idea to be reading this one. It's making me sad and making me miss my dad. Fuck. Right, let's keep going. Then, all of a sudden, the room started to feel cold. At first, I thought it was a draft, but then everything felt heavy, and it got quiet real quick. The clock stopped ticking. No car noises, no nothing. It was like the whole world had just stopped. Ew, I hate that. It looked like all of the color had started to fade away till everything had just turned gray. Well, good, it got worse. Then my whole body felt like pinprickles, and it felt like someone was watching me. As I looked up, I almost screamed in shock. There, in the doorway that led into the hall, was my grandpa. He was just standing there, smiling at me, wearing his favorite cream colored brown. Oh my god, I did not need all this description. Wearing his favorite cream colored brown pinstripe short sleeve button up shirt, blue jeans, brown belt, white socks, brown loafers, and brown glasses. The only thing different was a kind of glow around him. I sat there frozen for what seemed like an hour. Then I started to stand up. I don't know why. Maybe to hug him, or maybe just to touch him to see if he was actually there. I don't know. But the second I got on my feet, he was gone. And the world went back to normal, with all of the sounds and color back in like someone had just hit an unpause button. I just stood there for a second, then realized I was crying and went to get a tissue. Wow, holy shit! I know this would have been scary in the moment, just because it would have been hard to wrap your mind around it, but this is beyond beautiful. An hour later, my mom came and got me. She and my grandma were talking for a bit, and I stayed quiet, debating on whether or not to tell them what happened. I decided not to say anything to my grandma, just in case, but told my mom everything on the car ride home. When she noticed I was nervous about something, my mom was so shocked she had to pull over the car. She asked me like a million questions, mostly if I was positive of what I saw. And each time I told her yes, in describing the whole thing over and over again. I then started crying and she hugged me to calm me down, even though she was crying too. When we calmed down, she told me it was okay, but to never tell my grandma about what I saw that day. After that, I still visited my grandma, but never by myself, and I didn't stay overnight again. The weirdest part about all of that was that even though I was freaking out at what I saw, a part of me wanted to see him again. Seriously, again, this is such a beautiful gift, even if it freaked you out in the moment. That is a wonderful thing you got to experience. I also get that feeling. I've had a few visits from my dad after his passing, and every time it was over, I wanted him to visit again. I think it just comes from that want of having your loved one back with you. So while a visit is a gift, it can be kind of painful at the same time. But yeah, I do hope you see this less as something scary and more for what it was. He came to you in that moment because he could feel you needed to see him again. He came to you to bring you some comfort and let you know he was okay. I wish that need was always the trick to see a past loved one, but it's not. It does seem like it was a big part of it for you, though. He only showed up after you started strongly thinking about him. Maybe it called him to you. I can't fully be sure, but I guess it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But what does matter is the moment you had with him. I do kind of wonder why your mom didn't want to tell your grandma, though I guess neither did you. Did you both just not want to dig at a clearly open wound? Or did you believe she wouldn't react well to it? Like she would full on not believe you? Or would she believe it was something other than your grandpa? I don't know. I just wonder why you wouldn't tell her, especially since she was grieving so deeply still. If you both did think she wouldn't take it well because of her grief, I could get that. But I just feel like his visit could have been for all three of you. Either way, I do hope you see this visit in a better light now, and I hope it brought you some comfort in the long run. Alright, guys, that's all I got for you today. I do hope you all are enjoying the holidays and you get all you've wished for, even if it won't fit under the tree. I also wish for you all to have a peaceful day. No drama, and just happiness and cheer.
and maybe some rest. We could all use some after this year. Oh, and don't forget to rate and review the podcast, as well as send in your own stories. Like always, the email is in the show notes below. Let's start the new year with some really scary stories. What do you say? But for now, the coven is adjourned. See you next time. Bye.